Alyssa, the protagonist. Raymond's late brother's daughter. Works as a cleaner in Midtown, Atlanta. Lives in a rented room in East Side. Sends money home every month to support her sick mother. She is the person Stellan has been looking for. Uncle Raymond, Alyssa's uncle. Runs the family gatherings like a courtroom. He took the land Alyssa's father left behind and never transferred it. Has been using Alyssa's name in public as an example of failure. Calculating and skilled at making selfishness look like family loyalty. Aunt Patricia, Raymond's wife. Amplifies cruelty without starting it. Performs judgment from a safe distance. Kayla, Raymond and Patricia's daughter. The family favorite. Her cruelty is not confidence. It is fear of being outranked by someone she had already decided was beneath her. She opens the envelope, shows Raymond the contents before telling Alyssa, and weaponizes the information. Nicole, Kayla's companion. Never starts anything but always follows. By the end her discomfort becomes visible. Madison, a quieter cousin. Delivers painful information without apology and walks away. Grandma Helen, the only person in the family who has always genuinely loved Alyssa. She has been carrying the secret of the land for years out of fear. Her guilt and her love exist at the same time. Alyssa's mother never appears in the compound but present throughout. She raised Alyssa alone, absorbed the family's diminishment with dignity, and spent 20 years living smaller than she was owed without knowing why. She receives Alyssa's phone call at the end. Alyssa's father, he died when Alyssa was 11. Warm, quiet, building something for his family without announcement. His presence runs through the entire script. Stellan Hart, a billionaire in private investment and real estate. Lost his wallet on a bus 8 months ago. The wallet contained a USB drive with sensitive documents that would have ended a 4-year deal. Alyssa returned everything without keeping a cent or leaving a number. He has been looking for her for 3 months. Not flashy. A man who reads people carefully. He arrived at this compound early, watched everything before he walked through that gate, and had already judged every person present before he said a single word. By the time the billionaire said her name out loud, every relative who had spent the afternoon mocking Alyssa was already standing. Nobody planned to stand. Nobody gave a signal. They just rose, one by one, pulled upright by something they could already feel arriving. But to understand what that moment cost them, you have to go back to what they said before he walked through the gate. It was Aunt Patricia who set the tone. She was standing near the canopy when Alyssa arrived, talking to another woman loud enough for the whole entrance to hear. Some people, Patricia said, not turning around, are born to serve. And some are born to be seen. You can always tell which is which by what they walk in carrying. She turned around when she said the last part. She was looking directly at Alyssa's small bag. The other woman laughed. Alyssa kept walking. For hours from Atlanta. One bus, one shared taxi, the last stretch on foot. Her bag was small. Her dress was clean. She was here for one person only. Grandma Helen. The old woman who had called 3 weeks ago and said her name like it still meant something good. 3 years since she had been back. 3 years since Uncle Raymond stood at the Christmas table and said, while looking directly at her, that some people in this family were moving forward and some were still standing in the same place they were born. He did not use her name. He did not need to. Every person at that table turned to look at her anyway. She had not come back since. Until Grandma Helen called. Kayla was near the food tables with Nicole. New car parked at the gate at an angle that was not accidental. You actually came, Kayla said. Not welcome. Not good to see you. You actually came. I came for Grandma, Alyssa said and kept walking. She found Grandma Helen in the back room, propped on pillows, looking smaller than she remembered. The old woman's face changed the moment she saw her. She reached out both hands. Alyssa sat on the edge of the bed and let herself be held. It was the first time since arriving that anything in her body unclenched. Stay close to me today, Grandma Helen said. Do not let them get inside your head. But when she came back out, the afternoon had already begun its work. Raymond gave his speech. He mentioned Kayla by name. Everyone clapped. He mentioned Nicole. Everyone clapped. He went through every young person with something to announce. Promotion. Home. Husband. Business. He did not mention Alyssa once. Somehow that was worse than being mentioned. Kayla came and sat beside her afterward. Are you still doing that cleaning work in Midtown? She asked. Yes. Well. Kayla looked at her nails. At least it is something. She stood and walked back toward Nicole. Alyssa told herself she was not going to cry. Not here. Not in front of them. She was still telling herself that when the sound came from the gate. A car. Black SUV. The kind that did not belong on this street. It rolled to a stop and the engine cut off. The door opened and a man stepped out. No gold chains. No loud clothing. Just a quiet presence that made the air feel different. Mid-30s. Steady eyes. The look of someone who had already been watching for a long time before anyone noticed him. Uncle Raymond straightened. Aunt Patricia stopped mid-sentence. Kayla looked at Nicole. The man was not here for the gathering. He was looking for someone specific. And the name he said out loud in that compound, in front of everyone who had spent the afternoon making her feel like nothing, was Alyssa. Every head turned. Not toward the man at the gate. Toward Alyssa. She stood up slowly and walked toward the gate. Behind her the compound came back to life in whispers. What the family had never bothered to ask was how she had ended up here. Cleaning floors in Midtown. Sharing a room in East Side. Sending every spare dollar home. Her father died when she was 11. Her mother raised her alone. When her mother got sick 4 years ago, Alyssa left her polytechnic program without hesitation. Her mother needed care. There was nobody else. Her mother recovered. Partially. Alyssa found the Midtown job through a woman at church. 5 days a week. 5 a.m. starts. She sent money home every month. Called every Sunday. Told her mother things were fine even when they were not. No degree. No husband. No car. In the Carter family those absences were treated as a single character flaw. They never asked why. They just decided. What broke her that day was not Raymond's speech. It was what she heard behind the house. She had gone to sit alone for a few minutes. She found a chair near the back wall and breathed. She did not hear Kayla and Nicole come around the corner. They did not see her. She has been showing up to this gathering for 15 years with nothing new to say, Kayla said. Same clothes. Same job. Same story. You know what that is? Someone who stopped trying and wants everyone to feel sorry for her. Nicole laughed. Did you see her face during the speech? She looked like she was going to cry. Let her cry, Kayla said. Maybe it will motivate her. They walked back around the corner still laughing. Alyssa sat in the chair and did not move. Her hands were shaking. Not from anger. From the specific exhaustion of a person who has been carrying something heavy for a very long time and just heard someone laugh about the weight. She pressed her hands flat on her knees. Breathed. She was not going to give them that. Not here. But her hands kept shaking. She whispered it to herself, alone behind that house where nobody could hear. I tried. I really tried. Then she stood up. Smoothed her dress. Walked back. Madison found her near the canopy. Uncle Raymond uses your name, Madison said. At church meetings. At business lunches. He tells people you are what happens when a woman does not apply herself. Then she walked away. No apology. Just information delivered and abandoned. Alyssa stood with it. You didn't forget my name, she thought. You used it. You didn't ignore me. You rewrote me. She was still standing there when the black SUV came through the gate. She reached the man and stopped. Alyssa, he said. Not a question. My name is Stellan Hart. I have been looking for you for 3 months. The name meant nothing to her. She turned it over and came up with nothing. I think you have the wrong person, Alyssa said. I do not. You work in Midtown. You take the 6 a.m. bus from East Side every weekday. 8 months ago you found something on that bus and went out of your way to return it. And then slowly, like a door opening in a dark room, she remembered. It had been an ordinary morning. The bus was crowded. When the man beside her stood to exit, something slipped from his pocket. A wallet. Thick. Brown leather. She picked it up and looked inside only long enough to find a business card. There was also money. She saw it before she could stop herself from seeing it. More than she had seen in one place in a very long time. More than 2 months of her salary. She held the wallet in both hands. She thought about her mother. The medication bill. The gap between what she earned and what she needed that never seemed to close no matter how carefully she counted. For 1 second she wanted to keep it. 1 real, honest second. Then she closed the wallet. It was not her money. That was the beginning and the end of the thought. She went to the Midtown address on her lunch break. Left the wallet at the front desk. Refused the reward they offered. Went back to work. She had not thought about it again. That was my wallet, Stellan said. My cards. My identification. And $450,000 in cash. She heard something shift behind her. The compound was listening. Every single person. You returned all of it. Every dollar. No name left. No number. I have been looking for you since. It was not my money, Alyssa said. There was nothing to think about. Something in his expression settled. Like a man confirming something he already suspected. I know, he said. That is exactly why I am here. Uncle Raymond appeared. Wide smile. The performance of a man who had decided this stranger was important. My friend. Welcome. I am Raymond Carter. This is my family compound. Stellan shook his hand briefly. Without warmth. I am not here for the gathering. I came specifically to find Alyssa. Raymond put his hand on Alyssa's shoulder. This is our Alyssa. She is family. Whatever you need, we are all here. Our Alyssa. 3 hours ago she was invisible. Now she was our Alyssa. The entire family reorganized itself around this moment without a single instruction. I would like to speak with you privately, Stellan said to Alyssa. There are no secrets in this family, Raymond said. Whatever you have to say to Alyssa you can say to all of us. Stellan looked at the gathering. He looked at each face slowly. Then he reached into his jacket and produced an envelope. I came to thank you properly, he said. What you did was not a small thing. Alyssa took the envelope. The compound was silent. Every person calculating. Open it, Kayla said. Naked curiosity. The need to measure. Alyssa looked at the envelope. Then at her uncle's face. Then at the hunger in it. She did not open the envelope. You said you wanted to speak privately, she said to Stellan. Then let us do that. She walked away. She did not look back. Behind her, clear and sharp above everything else, Aunt Patricia's voice, who does she think she is? In about 20 minutes that question was going to answer itself. Alyssa led Stellan to 2 chairs under an old mango tree. For enough from the canopy that voices did not carry. I could have sent money, Stellan said. I chose not to. I wanted to see who you were in ordinary circumstances. Not just in that one moment on the bus. How long have you been here, she said. Long enough. I arrived before you did. I was parked across the street. Alyssa looked at him. I saw the woman at the entrance say what she said when you walked in. I saw the car at the gate. I saw the speech. I saw all of it. He paused. I wanted to know if the woman who returned that wallet was the same person when nobody was handing her anything. She is. On the other side of the compound, Raymond pulled Kayla aside. Find out who he is. Now. Kayla had her phone out. It did not take long. Stellan Hart, she said quietly. Private investment and real estate. Worth billions. Raymond looked toward the mango tree. His jaw tightened in a way that had nothing to do with anger and everything to do with recalculation. Kayla stared at the screen a moment longer. Something moved across her face that was not just greed. She had spent years being the family favorite. The one Raymond held up. The one everyone clapped for. And now a billionaire had walked past all of them to find Alyssa. The cousin she had dismissed her entire life. That was what was sitting underneath Kayla's cruelty all afternoon. Not confidence. Fear of being outranked by someone she had already decided was beneath her. She put her phone away and walked over with food and water, directing everything at Stellan. My father is so sorry we did not bring you inside from the beginning, she said warmly. When she finally glanced at Alyssa, her eyes said everything. The ground had shifted. She was already repositioning. Raymond carried a third chair over without being invited and sat beside Stellan. She is a quiet girl, he said. We have always worried about her. We have been trying to help her find her footing for years. He was rewriting her. In front of this man. Turning her into something the family had been patiently managing. Uncle Raymond, Alyssa said. When did you try to help me find my footing? Not aggressive. Just a question that required a specific answer. The silence that followed was the answer. Stellan looked at his hands. When he looked up, something behind his eyes had shifted permanently. Raymond laughed it off, dropped business figures, built a bridge between himself and Stellan using Alyssa as the foundation without asking her permission. Then he walked back to the canopy. Before Alyssa could speak, her phone rang. A woman. Calm. Calling from Grandma Helen's hospital. The old woman's condition had changed. The family should know. Alyssa stood up fast. The envelope fell from her lap. She did not pick it up. She was already moving. She did not see Kayla step from the side of the building. Did not see her pick up the envelope, open it, read the number inside, and walk directly to Raymond. Did not see Kayla lean close and say something that made Raymond go very still. But Stellan saw all of it. And he remembered. Grandma Helen was sitting up when Alyssa reached the room. Upright. Hands folded. Alert. I asked them to call you, the old woman said. I needed to speak with you alone. What did you want to tell me? Alyssa said. When your father died, he left something. A small piece of land in Decatur. He had been paying for it quietly for years and made me promise to make sure you and your mother received it. Alyssa felt the room shift. Raymond found out 3 months after the funeral. He said he would handle the paperwork. That your mother was grieving and did not need the stress. He said he would transfer it once things settled. He never transferred it. The land is in Raymond's name. Has been for years. He built 2 structures on it. He collects the rent. Alyssa walked to the window. Her uncle was back under the canopy. Laughing. Holding his drink the way a man holds something when he has no weight on him. She thought about her mother. Counting money. Every month. Every bill. Every year. She thought about Raymond standing at the Christmas table and using her name at church meetings and smiling at her uncle's business friends while her mother counted coins at a kitchen table in East Side. He had taken her inheritance. And then used her poverty as a moral lesson. You needed me small to feel big, she thought. She pressed her hand flat against the wall. Her throat closed. Her eyes burned. 20 years. She was 11 when Raymond stepped in with his paperwork. Her mother had been grateful. Alyssa had been too young to know what questions to ask. And for 20 years they had been living smaller than they needed to while rent went into Raymond's account every single month. She pressed harder against the wall and let it hold her up. One breath. Then another. She needed every part of herself for what was still ahead. She breathed until the grief became something she could carry. Then she turned around. "Does my mother know?" she asked. Her voice came out even. "No," Grandma Helen said. "I could not bring myself to tell her." Alyssa sat on the edge of the bed and took the old woman's hands. She did not say it was fine. It was not fine. She just breathed. The door opened without a knock. "Kayla." Concern arranged on her face. Holding the envelope. "Open." "You dropped this," she said. Alyssa looked at the broken seal. "You opened it." "It must have come open when it fell." The lie was clean and immediate. "How much?" Alyssa said. "How much was inside it?" Kayla said nothing. She had already told Raymond. Both of them had known before Alyssa did. That was not curiosity. That was strategy. Alyssa looked at her cousin for a long moment. "You didn't ignore me," she said quietly. "You erased me. And then you used the erasure." Kayla's expression flickered. Then she turned and walked out. Kayla took the envelope with her. The door clicked shut. Outside the compound was already reorganizing around new information. Voices dropping and quickening. Kayla had circulated the number. Alyssa could feel it the way you feel weather before it arrives. When she came back out, she saw it immediately. The same people who had not looked at her all afternoon were now positioning themselves. Aunt Patricia near the food table. An older cousin who had not spoken to her once now standing close to the mango tree. Nicole separated from Kayla, watching Alyssa with the discomfort of someone who has just realized the ground they were standing on belongs to someone else. Raymond spread his arms wide when he saw her return. "There she is. Come, come." He put his hand on her shoulder. "Stellan, I was just telling everyone how this family has always stood behind Alyssa. Whatever comes next for her, we are her foundation." He looked at Stellan when he said it. Not pride. Acclaim. Then Kayla stepped forward. She smiled at Stellan and said, very warmly, "We have to be honest with you. We worry about Alyssa. She has always struggled to make good decisions. We love her, but she can be impulsive. We just want to make sure whatever is happening here is something she has thought through properly." The compound went quiet. Alyssa stared at her. Kayla was not just repositioning. She was poisoning. Planting doubt about Alyssa's character in front of the one man who had come specifically because of that character. "Impulsive," Alyssa said. "I only mean," Kayla began. "You opened an envelope that was not yours. You told my uncle the number inside it before I knew what I was holding. And now you are standing here using the word impulsive about me." The compound went very still. Kayla's smile held for 1 second. Then it fell. "You didn't help me," Alyssa thought. "You managed me. And you called that love." Stellan had not moved. Had not spoken. He stood slightly apart and watched everything with the expression of a man who had already seen enough before he walked through the gate. Alyssa crossed to him near the mango tree. "I want to know what was in the envelope," she said. He reached into his jacket and produced a folded copy. She unfolded it. "Read it once. Then again." Her hand was not steady. She looked at the number. At what it meant for her mother. For the 5 a.m. bus. The cracked knees. The years of making herself small enough to fit inside a life that had never felt like it fully belonged to her. "This is real," she said. "Yes." "Why?" she said. Stellan opened his mouth to answer. And Raymond's voice came from directly behind her. What does it say? He had followed her. Standing 3 feet away. Face stripped of every performance it had worn all afternoon. What was underneath was something Alyssa recognized immediately. Pure, unguarded want. Nobody moved. Alyssa folded the paper. Slow. Deliberate. She closed her hand around it. Alyssa, Raymond said. Flat. Expectant. She turned and faced him. He was performing concern. But underneath was the same man who had taken land from a grieving family and built on it for years. Who had used her name as a warning to strangers. Who had claimed her as our Alyssa the moment a billionaire arrived. Uncle Raymond. The land my father left in Decatur. The 2 structures on it. What do you plan to do about them? The air changed. I do not know what you are talking about. You do. This is not the place. You have been making me a topic at church meetings and business lunches for years without my permission. I am asking you one direct question. This is a reasonable place. Raymond looked at Stellan. The instinct of a man who needed to be seen as reasonable. Stellan looked back and said nothing. Then Raymond stepped forward and lowered his voice into something almost genuine. I know things have not been easy between us. I know you carry pain about your father. I carry it too. He was my brother. Everything I have done has been for this family. You are my brother's daughter. Whatever else you believe, believe that. It was masterful. A fragment of something real inside it. Alyssa felt the pull of it. Her hand tightened around the paper. She thought about her mother. Counting money. Every month. Not knowing why it was never enough. She thought about Raymond at the Christmas table. At the church meetings. At the business lunches. Using her name. Selling her failure to rooms full of people she had never met. The fragment of truth in his words was real. It was not enough. It had never been enough. She removed her arm from his hand. I believe you did what you did for yourself, she said. And called it family. Raymond's face closed. Not anger. The face of a man accurately described who cannot argue with the description. She turned to Stellan. I would like to hear the rest of what you came to say. All of it. Without interruption. Stellan nodded. Behind her Raymond exhaled. She was done turning around. Stellan looked at every face that had spent the afternoon measuring and dismissing and performing around this woman. I would actually prefer to do this here, he said. If you are comfortable with that. 3 seconds. Yes, she said. He put his hands in his pockets and spoke in the same even tone he had used at the gate. Not raised. Not performed. Just clear. 8 months ago I was in a meeting that went badly. Afterward I was not in a good state of mind. I got on a bus because I needed to sit somewhere ordinary. I fell asleep. Everyone near the canopy was listening openly now. When I woke up my wallet was gone. My cards. My identification. A significant amount of cash. 3 days later my assistant told me a woman had come to the office during her lunch break. She found a wallet on a bus, tracked the address from a business card, left it at the front desk, refused a reward, and walked out. She left one thing. Just a name. Alyssa. And the bus route she had been on. I want to explain something. Not to create drama. But because the people in this compound should understand exactly who they have in their family. The compound was completely quiet. Inside the wallet was a USB drive clipped behind the cash. It contained sensitive documents that in the wrong hands would have ended a deal I spent for years building. Ended it permanently. The investors would have walked. Everything gone. She returned the wallet with everything intact. The cash. The cards. The drive. Nothing missing. Nothing opened. He looked at each face slowly. Kayla. Aunt Patricia. Nicole. Raymond. Long enough that each person understood they had been seen specifically. She did not know what was on that drive. She did not know who I was. She saw $450,000 and left every dollar where she found it. She went back to her cleaning job. She asked for nothing. He paused. I want you to think honestly about what you would have done. Not what you would like to believe. What you would actually have done with that much cash in your hands and no witnesses and a life that gave you every reason to keep it. He let that land. Most people would have kept it. Not because they are wicked. Because they are tired and they would have told themselves they deserved it. And they would not have been entirely wrong. He looked at Alyssa. She gave it back anyway. Then he looked back at the compound. The woman you have spent years calling a failure. The woman whose name has been used at church meetings as an example of what not to become. That woman held the future of $1 billion company in her hands on a Tuesday morning and chose to give it back. Not because someone was watching. Not because there was a reward. Because it was the only thing that made sense to her. That is not a woman who failed to find her direction. That is a woman whose character was so far above the conversation being had about her that the conversation should never have been happening at all. The silence that followed was the longest of the afternoon. Kayla was looking at the ground. Nicole had taken 3 steps back. Aunt Patricia's face had collapsed. The confidence gone. The face of a woman who had said some people are born to serve and now understood what she had been saying and who she had been saying it about. Raymond was looking at Alyssa with nothing left in his expression. No performance. No calculation. Just a man looking at his brother's daughter and sitting with something he could not argue with. Then Raymond did something nobody expected. He stepped forward. He spread his hands wide, the way he did before speeches, and said in a loud, clear voice, "This is exactly what we have always known about Alyssa. This family has always believed in her. We have been behind her from the beginning. This is proof of what we raised." The compound went silent in a different way than before. Not the silence of people absorbing something. The silence of people watching someone try to take credit for a building they never helped construct. Stellan turned and looked at Raymond directly for the first time since arriving. "You used her name at church meetings as an example of failure," Stellan said. "I know because she told me. And I know because I have been standing here watching this family treat her for the past 3 hours." He said it quietly. Evenly. The way a man says something that does not need volume to land. "What you raised had nothing to do with this." Raymond's mouth closed. Aunt Patricia looked at the ground. Nobody said another word. Stellan reached into his jacket a second time. A different envelope. Thicker. The first envelope was a personal thank you. "This is an offer. A conversation about your future. No obligation. Read it and decide. You drove for hours to a family gathering to return something to me," she said. "You walked into a building you had no business being in to return something to me. For hours seemed reasonable. It was the first moment all day that Alyssa almost smiled. I also want you to know that I have a lawyer I trust. Someone who handles property and inheritance matters. If there are land disputes in your family that need legal attention, I am happy to make an introduction. No cost. No strings." He did not look at Raymond when he said it. He did not need to. What he had just done was not make a threat. He had made it clear, in front of witnesses, that whatever Raymond had quietly managed for 20 years was no longer a private family arrangement. It was now something that could be examined. By someone with resources. And patience. Raymond's shoulders settled. The specific stillness of a man calculating the new shape of something he can no longer fully control. Then Grandma Helen's voice came from the doorway. She had gotten up. Standing in the doorway, leaning on the frame. Eyes clear. She looked at the compound. At every face. Then she looked at Alyssa. "Your father would have enjoyed this afternoon," she said. Everyone present knew what she meant. Not that it had been pleasant. She meant that a man who had been quietly cheated by his own family, whose daughter had been quietly diminished by those same people for years, would have found something deeply satisfying about watching that daughter stand in the middle of their compound without flinching while a man they would never have expected came looking for her specifically. Raymond looked at his mother. Grandma Helen looked back at him. She did not look away first. Then she went inside and pulled the door closed. And in the silence she left, something that had existed in that compound for years shifted in a way that could not be undone. Nobody moved for a long time after Grandma Helen went back inside. Not the silence of people waiting. The silence of people sitting with something that had already happened and could not be rearranged. The same aunt who had laughed at the gate that morning walked over and offered Alyssa food. Quietly. Without eye contact. Like a person trying to rewrite something they could not actually rewrite. Alyssa said no thank you. Politely. And turned away. Kayla left first. Eyes down. Did not come back out. Nicole followed. Aunt Patricia gathered her things. The gathering dissolved. Not dramatically. It simply lost its air. Raymond came to her. No warmth. He stopped a few feet away. I will have my lawyer contact you this week. About the land. I am not asking for a response. I am telling you what I am going to do. I will speak to my mother, Alyssa said. And we will have our own lawyer present. Raymond nodded once. He walked to the canopy and stood with his back to the compound. It was not an apology. It was not enough. But it had the weight of a man who understood that 20 years of quiet management had just become something that could be examined by someone far more resourced than he had anticipated. She went back to Grandma Helen. The old woman was in bed. Tired but settled. Are you angry with me? For not telling you sooner? I was, Alyssa said. For about 20 minutes. Grandma Helen made a sound that was almost a laugh. Your father chose well when he chose your mother. And they chose well when they made you. Alyssa looked at her grandmother's hand over hers. The thin skin. The familiar rings. She said nothing. She did not need to. Stellan was at the gate when she came back out. When you watched me before you came to the gate, what were you actually looking for? I wanted to know if the person who returned the wallet was the same person in ordinary circumstances. Whether it had been an exceptional moment or an exceptional character. And you are exactly the same, he said. In every direction. That is either a compliment or a warning. Depending on what I decide to do with it, she said. He looked at her steadily. You already know what you are going to do. She did not answer. But she did not look away either. She watched his car leave. Then she went inside and sat with Grandma Helen until the old woman fell asleep. She thought about her father. About the land he paid for quietly. About what he had actually left her, which was not land at all. It was the particular way he moved through the world. Without announcement. Doing the right thing because it was the only thing that made sense. She had been doing that her whole life without knowing where it came from. Now she knew. Raymond had taken the land. He had not been able to take the most important thing. The thing that made a man drive for hours to say her name in front of everyone. That was never Raymond's to take. It had always been hers. She stepped outside and called her mother. Her mother picked up on the second ring. Are you all right? How is Grandma Helen? She is resting. She is okay. Mama, I have some things to tell you. About Daddy. About the land he left. About today. Silence. Careful. Bracing. It is not bad news. Not all of it. Some of it is something we should have had a long time ago. Her mother said, tell me. Alyssa told her. And halfway through, her mother started to cry. Not from pain. From the specific relief of a woman who has been carrying something heavier than she knew, and has just been told she does not have to carry it alone anymore. Alyssa sat on the step outside the compound and listened to her mother cry and did not tell her to stop. She just stayed on the line. Present. Steady. The way her mother had always been for her. When her mother finally found her voice, she said, "Your father would be so proud of you." Alyssa closed her eyes. "We were never poor, Mama," she said quietly. "We were stolen from." Her mother did not speak for a long moment. Then she said, "Yes. Yes, we were." She left just after 8 in the evening. Same small bag. Same clean dress. Same road out that was too narrow for anything with 4 wheels. But she walked it differently. More settled in her own feet. Like a woman who had come to do one thing, had done it, and was leaving with something she had not come looking for but had always deserved. Her mother had spent 20 years absorbing a smaller life than she was owed without knowing why. Tomorrow that would begin to change. Everything had changed today without Alyssa chasing a single piece of it. She had just been herself. And her father's daughter kept walking.